Let's talk about Russell Wilson real quick. You know, as much shit as I've given people who try to hold Russell Wilson as like the standard that all men should try to achieve when it comes to women, I have always said that like this whole narrative that they want to push that men hate Russell Wilson and he's a terrible father. I would say that's not true. I'm sure Russell Wilson is a great guy. I'm sure he's a wonderful father. I think Sierra really is in the best position possible. I just have always said that like the reason why a lot of chicks really look at Russell and be like, oh my gosh, I want that is because he did what most women want most men to do, which is play stepdad. And someone can hear that and say, oh, you don't like single mothers. If anything, I usually repeat that most, well, I'm not saying most, there are a lot of men out there who wouldn't mind dating a single mother if she wouldn't carry herself like the prize. Right? I'm not somebody who gets on here and says, no, it never happens. No, it happens all the time, but it's the mentality, it's the dynamic. And you got to follow me carefully here. I'm not saying that this is a bad situation for those children and for Sierra, because I think it's a great opportunity. It's a great dynamic. But would most men, with the options that are out here and single mothers, and even if they were in Russell Wilson's shoes, would they have done this? No. Men see that and they're like, you probably could have done better. Are men allowed to have, can they have those opinions? It's like men can't have opinions these days. But let a man get chose by a chick and they'll be honest and say, oh, she could have done better than him. I don't know. I don't know. You hear it with who? You hear it with someone like Rihanna. Why? Well, because Rihanna, a billionaire lady, who looks like she might be wifing ASAP Rocky, right? I see that all the time. They understand that, but then they don't understand why guys look at a guy like Russell and be like, odd choice. But listening to him talk, I then understand why I have said in the past, like, man, the guy is probably a great father. I'm sure he is, and probably a decent individual. Let's check out this video that he posted recently.
3 days later, I meet C. And when I walked in the room and I saw, little future, he's 9 months at the time or whatever, and he crawls in my lap, and it was like, this is going to be my responsibility.
Real quick, man. Here's how I know that Russell really prays every morning is that he's able to call that his stepson future. When you see situations where him and Sierra have walked into concerts and Future takes a stage and they leave because there's tension between their butt, he the only thing that can help you do that is God.
God, I remember leaving that night and God saying, God saying to me, raising this child is going to be your responsibility. And realizing that, I pray to God, are you sure this is what you want me to do? Say, son, this is for you.
The first night?
Yeah, the first night. Mm-hmm. It's going to be your responsibility. And
was that scary?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think scary just in the sense of, not scary, but it was more so an opportunity. Like, okay, God, this is what you want me to do. This is, stepping in to raise, a child with C and this and that. And realizing that, okay, God, like, I know she's the one for me, but also, too, I'm going to take this responsibility as well. Like, okay, like, and I was ready for that.
I'm a believer in God. I'm not going to speak to whether, because I don't, that's his own personal experience. But I'm weary, man, especially when you grow up in the church and you hear people talk about how they heard God tell them something. It's. I'm ready to look at that and just be like, it was, yes, you probably heard God audibly. That's in most cases, most people don't hear God that way. Have I been impressed by God in my life? Yes, I have been impressed by God. But there's this problem with men who are in the church. You know, when you are a guy in the church and you take your belief seriously, you almost feel like you need to rescue women. Like that is your job. Like if you could choose between a woman who you'd be better at peace with, probably cooperate with more, and there'll be less tension, and a woman who comes with baggage and more trauma from another relationship, a lot of Christian guys look at that opportunity as like, oh, I want to fix it. I want to do God's work. I'm having an honest discussion here. If you are someone who was raised up in the church, you understand this type of stuff. And I don't always think that that's the right move. Can it be sometimes? I'm sure it is. Did God speak to Russell Wilson? I don't know. But red flags went up when I heard that. That's my honest opinion. Let's keep listening.
I was ready for that. I was ready to, 3 days later, I meet C. Take this responsibility as well. Like, okay. Like, and I was ready for that. I was ready for that. I was ready to, you know, I love children, as you know, I love kids and everything else, but it was like, man, to help raise a child and everything else, understanding that, okay, God, you're gonna give me this opportunity. What a gift. Even Jesus himself, like Joseph was a stepdad. I was like, okay, it wasn't biologically his. So I'm like, okay, God, you're gonna have me give me this opportunity to love the way that you were loved, like the love.
That's a really slick way to encourage. See that right there. That's something. That's a really slick way to encourage men in church to be stepfathers. But you know, Mary was also a virgin, right? They won't tell you that part.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Let's keep listening. And that's not me saying that men should only marry or date virgins, because good luck with that. But I'm just saying they conveniently leave certain things out.
Of the way that you want us to love. Well, wait, God, that you want me to. And so then, you know, it's been an amazing journey, obviously, raising 4 kids. And
yeah, y'all have 4 babies.
Yep.
I'm gonna ask the question later, like y'all done, but damn, bro.
He wants more kids.
Of course, you know, more.
So you got 4 babies right now. Might be done. What's the best piece of advice you can give us men out there on parenting?
Take this responsibility as well, like
not parenting, on being a father, right? And then also being specific. You said it, you know, at 9 months you're holding him and you're like, yo, this is, God gave you that vision, like, yo, this is going to be your responsibility. So, like, is there a difference from, you know, how you approach being a father, stepfather? You understand?
No. I think that when you're raising children, right, and you're married and everything else and loving, it's like you got to love every single child as if they're yours, right? That's been the greatest gift of raising Future and Sienna and Wynn and now Mora, you know, 2 months. It's like, man, God gave me that opportunity to raise them and to love them and to.
I agree with that. If you're going to decide to commit to marrying a single mother and you say, hey, I'm taking these kids on, you do have to treat those children the same and love them the same. This goes back to the whole issue of women thinking that they could be single mothers on their own. No, that son needs a father, that child needs a father. So I see what he's saying right there.
Care for them and teach them and to love them as every day, you know, that way. And there's no difference. There's no difference in the. Yeah, I think to me it's the greatest gift, and knowing that that's the responsibility to raise these 4 beautiful children all together. In this, and we all come from blended families. A lot of times we all come from different this and that, but it's to be able to be one, and that's been the best part of raising these kids with C.
All right, so a few comments here I'm going to check out. So first comment here says, love him. That is by I am Courtney Michelle. She was on the channel a couple of years back. Shout out to Courtney. Somebody else here says, ain't shit corny about this man. Russell is a stand-up brother. Only the unhinged, unintelligent, unhealed, and deadbeat low-life types would have an issue with this brother. Again, I don't think people necessarily need to have an issue with Russell Wilson to disagree with him deciding to set down Sierra. Now you might say, what does that have to do with you? It's just the opinion out here. It's just the opinion that men have. Somebody else here says, I speak for all fathers. This is the man I want my daughter to bring home. Somebody else here says, speaking negatively about this man suggests that you cannot even comprehend the depth of character he possesses. Another person here says, when he said Joseph was a stepdad, man, listen. Again, guys, it's important that like you understand these Bible verses thoroughly, because, you know, they'll definitely say things in a way that will put the woman at an advantage. And they'll say, well, Joseph was a stepdad. Why can't you be? No. This is when the conversations turn into more men need to start wifing single mothers. You know, the Boyce Watkins approach to the solution for broken homes is everybody go find a single mother and wife her. Now, my opinion is you don't force people as a solution to. You don't bring them down and say, if you don't want that, then there's something wrong with you. Nah. Now, if a woman brings value, if a single mother brings value to a man and they get together, cool. Somebody else here says, why do men not like him? Again, here's another one that says, he's a man of honor and a man of God. May the Most High continue to bless their family. Let me see what else we have here. I think that's everything. There's something I wanted to say too. Oh, yes. Again, guys, when you have a community where a large percentage of the children, like 60, 70% are born out of wedlock to single mothers, then the most popular situation that those women want are Russell Wilson, which is why women popularized the Sierra's prayer. So all this makes sense if you really understand what's happening in the background and culture. Listen, man, I appreciate you for checking out this episode of Your Morning Brew. Comments down below. I'm always curious to know what you think. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.